Hello everybody and welcome back to finally the final qualifier offline match up on the DBDLeague YouTube channel. My name is Mathis and we are now here with Torment versus Cynic. Cynic now having successfully beaten Team Suffer and now competing for spot number 8 in the main bracket of the tournament winter circuit, which is also currently going on stream. Got no words to lose here. Ivan already in chase super early on. We're gonna see Torment on killer first, having picked Wraith as well. Already getting extremely early down and expecting the head-on play by Ultra here. Perfectly timed by Ivan. Extremely great game sense depiction here by our killer main from Team Torment, playing Wraith in the first set on Dead Dog Saloon. And we are also gonna see Sloppy Butcher, Call of Brine, Eruption. That nasty combo. That's soon going to get nerfed, however. So I personally apologize for the delay between the last upload and this one now, but well, your boy's got an RTX 3060 now instead of his GTX 960, which took 13 hours to render every video, so that's hopefully gonna get cut down. Great depiction of game sense by Ultra here as well. Body blocking the Wraith, does not want wants to get the window done here as well. Does not want to risk getting body blocked on it, and Ivan also expecting the vault super early on from Ultra, but we see Ultra does win the 50-50. That would have been absolutely beautiful by Ivan if that would have paid off, but still, great depiction here. Once again, Ivan showing a lot of knowledge on this killer and having a lot of experience also on Wraith, on Dead Dog Saloon. Now gonna get the first hit onto Angel's Lusty, the only one who hasn't shed blood yet. No Thanatophobia, so Ivan is most likely not gonna be interested in getting that hit regardless, but does have 3 Sloppy Butcher hits right from the get-go. Gonna see probably pushing the pallet, yep, exactly. As expected, ready like a book, good sir. Never's gonna go down, however, did not expect Ivan to push straight through it, was hoping for Ivan to pay some respect to the pallet here. We see a reset also already on the water tower. Or the windmill water tower, it's sort of both in the corner. And Ivan getting the first hook as soon as that first generator pops also. Gonna get the first gen kick off the game here. Call of Brine and Eruption applied. That gen is going to be absolutely demolished in a matter of seconds. Trying to find a survivor, going around for the save through Shakir, hoping to catch some survivors off guard. Will they get the heal despite Sloppy Butcher? They barely do manage to get it. Ultra pre-throws the pallet here. Also, Ivan using Shadow Dance and Swift Hunt. Not gonna see Windstorm, not gonna go for the body block attempts because that's really all this perk is worth for, the add-on is worth for. Here's the mech somewhere, but however, our survivor has already made it upstairs. Ivan struggling to get through the window here. Doesn't even have Bamboozle, so it's gonna be fast regardless because of Shadow Dance. And Meg still somewhere around manages to drop down without being heard, I do believe. Yeah, manages to drop outside. Tries to make it to the pallet, but doesn't really, or does have the filler here. Ivan not gonna change playstyle this time and not gonna push the pallet, and we see Nev gonna pre-throw it, however, expecting Ivan to do the exact same thing. However, that is going to pay back severely with Nev going down, and Eruption being shown here by Ultra. See our survivor screaming in the distance, and that is also gonna be a basement hook, and on top of that a second stage onto Nev. So this is looking extremely good for Ivan, or Ivan, I hope I'm saying it right. I hope our player is okay with either. Ultra now gonna try to get back on this generator here. Eruption, however, still on cooldown, will not be able to get it. Oh, we see a little bit of a couple blinks here in the recording. Teleporting back a bit. Ivan, stop DDoSing, we've talked about this. We see net limiting in this case, DDoSing by the source of Cynic in this case. See a great hit tank by Lusty, our 4th survivor finally taking the first M1 as well. And we see Meg still trying her absolute hardest, never trying to waste as much time as possible. We see Ivan not even Russian, but having a lot of games, a lot of outplays or mind game attempts. Oh, our good sir is just holding that chain up. Oh, great teleport. Seems like our spectator had some lag issues here when the games were recorded. And we see Nev just pre-leaving the pallet, but it might barely not be enough. No, it doesn't manage to make it. It's gonna pre-throw the pallet and instantly vault again. After that first pallet push by Ivan. Great mind game in the end here. Now expecting Ivan to be extremely aggressive on all the plays, but Ivan playing extremely protectively after that first pallet push. So having changed playstyle once and then staying conservative with it really did pay off for our killer. Gonna get a kill on 3 generators remaining, only 3 stages over, so no stages spread out yet, but does still have that Call of Brian Interruption and really only needs a 3 gen, and that would suffice for 4K with Wraith on Dead Dog Saloon, and that would be quite the great win condition for Team Torment's upcoming Survivor trial. We see... That's the payback in West. Europe wins, and Ivan is gonna be able to get a wonderful clobber straight through the tile as we see all of our players teleporting around. This looks okay. You really shouldn't hug a cactus. I speak from experience. I'm not gonna go into detail. And we see Ultra still injured. What was that? Oh, I tapped on the video here. What was that? I think I just kicked my headset cord and that made my mouse move or something. I don't even know that happened. Anyway, that's gonna be the down on Ultra. And the 4th stage of the game after Ultra drops a pallet in the middle of the field. And Hook comes through. Second later, Ivan does manage to leave. And I'm pretty sure this isn't lag on their side of things. I think this is just the spectator POV. But the gen pop does happen finally. It will be 3 gens, and 3 gens popped, and that Anno comes through extremely early. There's a great play by Cynic. Gonna be able to exert pressure straight back onto Ivan after that 4th hook has been acquired. But Nia, Angel's barely getting the gen pop here. That's gonna be huge for our survivors. Especially now that Angels does manage to make it back to main. However, this is not really the safest tile against Wraith if no pallets are available any longer. But Angels does manage to find and teleport on the pallet. But Ivan just gonna once again push straight through it. It's sort of become a reoccurring theme with Ivan's playstyle as well. Extremely aggressive in the first place and then sort of conservative or even protective once the playstyle has been changed once. As we saw with the chases on Nev here, first down happened by Ivan just pushing straight through that pallet and then just extremely safe and passively on all those pallets, just waiting for the survivors to be animation locked. Sort of the Zaka playstyle, or sort of has this playstyle has become quite dominant among top players. And we see Ivan is also going to be able to pressure all 3 survivors simultaneously as we see Lusty and Ultra both coming in for the save. Gonna fake pursuing straight after and gonna try to mind game all the way around. Will Lusty taste the back here? I doubt it will happen because we don't even hear the injured Leon anywhere near. Yep, and our survivor did anticipate it, will be able to make it back to the downstairs window as we see a healthy Ultra in position to take it. Was waiting, but was trying to instantly pull the head on, but Ultra this time waiting in the other locker, but still. That's going to be 2 for 2 for Ivan, being able to expect the head on both times. I was hoping Ivan was gonna go for the exact same play there after the uncloak, but instead is just gonna hold straight after Lusty, and it was an extremely close call, so Ivan not specifically making the wrong decision there, but Lusty just had barely enough distance to make the vault. We do hear footsteps on top of main. A couple generators have been pressured, this one not really yet. We do have a nice and tidy 3-gen right around between scaffold and main building here. This does remind me a lot of the 3-gen actually that Prisma was stuck in against Volga in Best of the Best. Invincible Kittens versus Prisma, if anyone remembers. Probably not. But Ultra, despite the 330 on AOS ping, playing this superbly until the 50-50 has finally been lost on the shorter... What do you call this even? I'll just call it a wagon. On the wagon pallet here, once again winning the pallet here, trying to make as much distance as possible into the corner. Gonna silently vault due to spectator lag. Oh no, actually it's definitely quick and quiet because of that one. Silly me. Ultra is gonna be able to make it back to the pallet around the larger wagon. Yeah, I'm coining the terms for that now. We'll also be able to make the window here. Ultra with a fantastic, phenomenal chase here. Ivan even has to leave it. Does not have eruption up regardless, so that down really wouldn't have done much for Ivan, despite the, well, except for the stage, of course. And a blastman comes through as well. Ivan gonna get absolutely demolished on the generator here. Even blinds me. I'm casting this at 9 PM in the evening, and my room is dark. Well, I do have lights up, so don't think I'm a basement dweller. But Ivan instantly gonna vault the window here with Shadow Dance, but little does Ivan know that the entity blocker does not work. Of course, a killer knows. I'm just joking, and we're gonna see Ivan trying to mind game around the window here, but Lusty is gonna play it really well, and it's just gonna take as much distance as possible, most likely gonna aim for the pallet now, just instantly vault that as well, because that's gonna maximize distance precisely. We see the main pallet is gonna be left here. Lusty grading for more, trying to make the tier wall here and will instantly vault it. Only gets the medium and Ivan didn't expect it and just gonna go for the short swing for good measures. Was hoping that ping was gonna do its thing, but it did not. We see Lusty playing this extremely well here. Cynic are really taking this back with the Chase's beautiful vault once again. Precise decision making and extremely on point and prompt and tactual and all the adjectives that come to mind. Is it even tactual? Whatever. And we see Ivan gonna... I'm stuck on that now. No. Whatever. Ivan is once again gonna find Ultra, but, Ultra does not have the distance, but manages to fake the window, of the pallet vault in this case. And Ivan gonna swing past, it's gonna be a little bit of a delay. Ultra now making the right decision of just taking the vault regardless, because that's gonna waste as much time as possible. As we see a generator now being edged very close here, Angels might be able to pop another generator right in Ivan's face, and it is going to happen. Rinse and repeat of a former situation here. Ultra is hooked, and then right after we see Angels on that 90% generator just barely threading the needle and getting it. Great movement here, once again gonna delay that hit as much as possible. Has nothing available in the corner, but was able to waste at least a couple more seconds that Lusty is still spending on this generator. Actually, no! Will be dropping down from main straight for the unhook for Ultra, and that is gonna succeed as well, and the hit comes straight through the tree, and Ultra... Bing doing its thing there, and we see Ultra gonna drop that pallet preemptively as well, knowing fully well he is dead on hook, so if Ivan manages to down him once more, it's gonna be the end for him. But Ivan gonna go straight for the main building generator, and will find Angels here once again. Our what is it called in League again? Gonna go for the backdoor nexus, I'll just call it that. Correct me in the comments. And we see Angels trying their absolute hardest on main building here. The breakable wall is still intact, so Ivan will not have enough distance and gonna abuse it perfectly. Will once again make it to the pallet in the middle because Ivan still hasn't broken any of these, but as the overall statistics of the game show is that Ivan was able to get 1 or 2 hits on these pallets here. Gonna go for the 360 spin. Crazy movement, but it's not gonna be enough for Ivan. Now be careful, Angels. Oh, not gonna do the same thing that Ultra did before, and is gonna be able to win 3 and 4 in a row. Unfortunately, not gonna win the 5th in a row. Ivan just gonna go back and forth, waiting for the right moment, and Angels did, in fact, that time hold W, and that is gonna be the down and the 7th stage of the game. However, a second kill is still far from happening. We do have 2 survivors dead on hook now, with Lusty not having been hooked yet, I do believe. Yeah, can't be. That's 3 plus 2 plus 2. Quick muffs. Dead mean, GG. Dislike the video now. We see Ultra is still gonna go for the fakes here. Is gonna be able to make the fast ult here. Amazing patience by our killer all the way from California. I hope that's correct. On our west. There's only like 3 states there: Oregon, Washington, California. Maybe Arizona, Nevada count as well. We see Ivan is gonna once again uncloak here, but we have seen great chases from Ultra so far on track building, and the vault is gonna happen again. Will win it as well, and it's unfortunately gonna get hit straight over the pallet. Very unfortunate hit for Ultra, and Ivan is just gonna commit to it in the corner. However, does not have Eruption applied on main building, so if 2 survivors are on that, then Eruption would have done absolutely nothing. So Ivan, panicking a little bit, must bolt back to main building as quickly as possible. He has 2 injured survivors here. We heard a Nia and a Leon. Lusty and Angels respectively, and we see our survivors extremely aggressive on these generators, doubling scaffold now. I believe they are committing to this. No, we do hear the drop down sound now, and the blast band is gonna come through. That might just be enough time for our survivor on main building to get back on that generator and pop it in time before Ivan makes it anywhere near. Once again, Ivan now committing to the chase on the only survivor that is not dead on hook yet. So if Ivan is trying to go for the 4K, that's definitely not going to be the play. But I do believe Ivan is just going to try to get this down here for the 10 stages, potentially even 11, because I don't think our survivors would have enough time to get that last generator pop, to get the exit gate open by the time that the hook has also occurred on Lusty. Ivan trying his absolute hardest to get the perfect macro management between these survivors, and extremely creative movement here by Lusty, just gonna try to drop right past Ivan, is however going to tremendously backfire. Pickup on Lusty will happen. That's gonna be the 8th hook of the game and his first stage as well. So That's gonna be the +3 points for Ivan. However, there's still 3 survivors in the game. Despite that kill at 3 generators remaining, our survivors really showing that even if you lose a survivor early on, and a 1 killer really does not have much to... It can really be destroyed if with great team management. However, Ultra now gonna go for the unhook extremely early. Ivan, with amazing game sense, once again will be able to anticipate this very drop down from main building and the early attempt to save. And I don't think this is gonna be enough time for Angels. Despite that resilience, it's gonna be so close, but I don't think our survivor will make it in time. The unhook is gonna happen now. Swift hunt. Our survivor is barely at 95%. It is unfortunately not gonna be enough. The grab occurs, and that is gonna be the 4K on 1 generator remaining, a huge win condition for Team Torment here. So our killer from Team Cynic is most likely going to struggle quite tremendously in the upcoming game. And considering these games cut off, or these recordings cut off extremely early, and the moment that first frame is hit on the end game screen, it's cut off. So I'm gonna have to outro already. Here we see Ivan going for the BM here, staring at, or doing the Michael Myers nod at his art on the ground, is going to be able to get the pickup on Ultra, and the hook of Ultra is going to seal the deal. 4K, 1 generator remaining. That should be 8-28 right from the first set. A huge score for Ivan and a huge lead for Team Torment. Alrighty, set number 2, Cynic on Killer, Ultra representing his team against the likes of Team Torment, now on Survivor after Ivan, who's now also playing Nia, has achieved an impressive result on the Killer side with a 4K on the 1 generator remaining. You see the score at the top of the screen, 28-8. So now we are going to see Torment on Survivor with our favorite NAOS killer. Could have already been the stun out of the ability, but we see Coda extremely conserving with these pallets here. Ultra trying his hardest to mind game the shack, and this might just be enough for the hit actually. Coda is gonna go for the vault, and the hit does not come through. Not today, Ultra. Let's do this. No, I should not have made that a cheat reference. Okay, yeah, anyway. Oh! Hello, Coda. Put his camera in the wrong direction there. Thankfully, Wraith has the... Oh, okay. Wraith has the sound indicator. Coda dropping that pallet on himself to proc alive. It's annoying. I'm not entirely sure. But Coda so far with a great chase already in front of main building now. Not a hit has occurred, but Coda already has used quite a lot of pallets. And that's going to be the next one to add up to his score now. Chase is gonna be changed onto Ivan. Now we do require a lot of macro management from Ultra early on, or actually the same that Ivan did in his previous game, getting a kill at 3 generators remaining. That's already 3 survivors pressured off generators, but with good communication, they should be able to immediately rotate back on the generators. Ultra trying his hardest to catch all of these survivors off guard, getting as many sloppy butcher tags as possible early in the game, so there can't be any body blocks. And we see a very ambitious swing through the pallet, which is not going to work against Zynox here, who is going to expect something of the similar. Probably just going to hold around the road around. No, we're going to see a slow vault instead. Holding around the tile would have been the safer option here. And Zynox, however, of course, going for the juke. We want the clips. But Ivan is now going to be caught on the pallet here with the strawberry. Had a great choice, but is going to make it just past Ultra once again. 1 generator pop, 0 status given. Only 2 hits have occurred as well, and one of them have already been healed. But Ivan is not... It might actually... No, he will be able to avoid getting hit on the 4 lane here as well. And make it over to Water Tower. Great patience here. Also extremely pushing the pallet from that side. Zoning himself essentially. But now making the right choice of going around. If Ivan had, however, dropped that early, that could have been detrimental for Ultra. Because he would have been... Because Ivan would have essentially unzoned himself there. And a great fast vault here. Winning every single 50-50. Torment showing a lot of practice on these 1v1s here. Extremely confident. And we are gonna see Ultra an early swing here, expecting him to go for the pallet, but Ivan not joking whatsoever today. The absolute MVP in the race set so far, in a phenomenal place once again after Coda and Zynox have already served Ultra at the start, and we are gonna see Silhey wants to hit Chase for himself as well. We are gonna see our great Zarina player on the Chase next, gonna drop that pallet relatively early, but is also gonna be able to avoid the hit, most likely gonna instantly bolt back to Shack now, try to play the window, never mind, gonna go for the mid pallet here and dropping it extremely early as well. I'm expecting the survivor to not even vault. No, the vault is gonna come through right from the get-go, but Silly is gonna get hit straight over it. Ultra, however, struggling quite a lot now. 3 generators remaining. How do I keep moving my mouse? Sorry. Ultra, now that's spoiler now for the game time. We're already halfway through. Shucks. Center that. And yeah, Silly now gonna go down on main building. However, that's only gonna be 1 stage for the trade-off of 2.5 cleanse. I do believe we should have another generator relatively soon popping on the main road here. Green Star Defense popping. And Ultra is gonna get the first stage onto Silly finally, but with no early tunnel out. This is looking extremely grim from our killer of Team Cynic here. So it really comes to show why Torment decided to go for this. Oh my eyes. Decided to go for this Wraith pick right from the get-go. We see the sheer dominance of their survivor as well as killer side, with Ivan already having served Cynic in the first round. We're gonna see Zynox next in chase. Will still have the main building window available. However, Ultra did go for the kick of it this time, so is not gonna have as much trouble playing it as much as Ivan did in the previous trial. Silly is gonna be secure to second, but at what cost? The game is lost, almost. 1 more gen needs to pop, and then it's basically over, and we don't have a 3 gen whatsoever. Could have a great fake off the vault here. Gonna go for it now, but still gonna get hit over it. Silly about to hit second stage, but still not even gonna happen. 1 stage, 1 generator remaining, and I heard some very busy hands on the main building generator already, so that must already be at about 30 to 40%. Ivan gonna take the clobber. Soppy Butcher applied. We also we don't see the exact same build. We don't have Eruption. Unlike the previous game, we now see a Pain Res, but with only 1 hook acquired throughout this entire trial. That was a complete blunder and did not help out whatsoever. Silly, once again, in chase behind main building, does only have the Druka pallet available. Not gonna go for the vault here, despite Ultra's red light fake. Will be able to win the first 50-50. Will also be able to win the second. Great waste of time here. This is only 1 survivor pressure. Wins the third one too. Great display of chase technique here by Silly. It's gonna be finally the kick, but that's 3 survivors completely unpressured, and they might as well just triple up on gens now. It seems like Ultra just wants at least 1 kill to avoid getting 4-outed. And the Z-wall occurs as well. Beautifully played by Silly. These survivors are winning every single 50-50 today, despite having to play on 230 MS. And that's gonna be the double drop down. See, Strawberry Hat Nia is trying to be gonna be defended by Coda. See Ultra looking up, hoping not to auto aim onto Coda, but it's going to happen regardless. Great body block here by Coda in order to defend Ivan. Tries to win the 50-50 once again, and that last generator pops to seal the deal. It is going to be the win for Team Torment in the first set. This is going to be at least 10 points for the survivor side, in contrast to the 8 points that Team Cynic were able to score in their previous match. So, as at the moment that last generator popped, it was already GG. For Team Cynic, this first set point is going to go right over to Team Torment as Ivan is downed. We do see the 2 slug in the end game, a little bit more pressure for Ultra than what we've seen throughout the trial, but we are most likely just gonna see the 3-man escape as Ivan takes the death on the hook. And there's gonna be a huge domination by Team Torment here. Cynic absolutely pummeled into submission. Gonna see Ivan, yeah, and we see all 3 survivors nearing the exit gate, and that's gonna be the 3-man escape. Only 4 stages given to Team Cynic. And right after a quick cut, we'll be back with Cenobite. Alrighty, and welcome to match number 3, set number 2, between Cynic and Team Torment. Ultra now on Cenobite representing Team Cynic's pick. Once again, we are gonna play on Dead Dog Saloon. So the color palette is really not going to change much today. Despite, but if it does go tiebreaker, then we will definitely see a different map. So Ultra trying to find a survivor stealthing out edge map right from the get-go, despite having seen I believe it was a male survivor, well, that can only really be Adam, running around the map, and we see that exactly. Ultra trying to find a survivor hiding in the tall grass, but this ain't Pokemon. So not gonna be very successful, and the early stages of the game does have the, it's called Original Pain, the Mend add-on, and the other one is Impaling Wire. Yes. So, yeah, one is the Mend add-on, and the other one is that more wires spawn if they are broken manually by the survivor using the surroundings. A very important add-on on Dead Dog Saloon, considering main building is basically not playable for Cenobite with the amount of blocks, with the amount of tiles and walls. Ivan gonna take the first clobber here, trying to outmaneuver that first hit by faking the window. And we are gonna see a great fake here. We'll be able to dodge all chains, but it's just gonna hold W straight to the next 4 lane here, hoping that Ultra would at least hesitate a tiny bit. And in contrast to the Wraith game, this is already gonna be a super early down for Team Cynic this time. But of course, Cenobite is a tremendously stronger chase killer. And Ivan is gonna take the first hook, and we are once again going to see that Scourge hook, and this time also very peculiar. Saved the best for last. A perk that is a very rare occurrence on in competitive Dead by Daylight, but we are gonna see Ultra picking it instead of the likes of Force Penance. So really, if there are any hits, then our killer wants to avoid having to waste time with hit tanks as much as possible. So Silahe is the odd one out, our obsession of the trial that Ultra really doesn't want to chase. So it's absolutely great for Ultra that this is also the survivor who happens to be working on main, because that's usually the tile that you like to avoid as the Cenobite, but in most occasions it is of course unavoidable. But that's already gonna be 2 gens popped, and then the main generator is also on 30%. Cynoc's gonna spin out the chain in the open, as you do see the attempted 2-man savior. Save the best for last hasn't built up enough stacks for it to deny the 2-man savior. And we are gonna see the hit onto Silay as well. 2 stacks will be lost, and only 1 gain. That's gonna put him back straight to 1, and Ivan instantly gonna go back down right away, and might even take it to basement here. No, he's just gonna take it back to main building here. Probably the smarter decision, considering now Ultra is able to defend the hook in the middle, as well as snipe every possible location with the chains. Silay not gonna be able to hide out the 45-degree angle behind the generator, so Ultra most likely just gonna keep poking all of these survivors with his ability, trying to juke out Zynox here, but it's not gonna be successful. Zynox will be able to once again outmaneuver the chain, but the chain hunt has started, so our survivors must find the box, and that is of course instantly going to happen. Padra HZ already on the box here. Also trying to snipe around, but barely doesn't make it. Should have brought ranged add-ons instead, right? That generator has not really got much pressure on it so far. Ultra unfortunately gonna somehow stop the chain mid-air, so it's not gonna be successful. Our survivors now coming in for the last second save. Save the Mr. Last, please! It's not gonna be enough. That's gonna be 4 stacks now, however. The chase of course instantly continues onto Ivan. The chain will be applied. Pedro HZ will not be able to make it for the body block, and the down occurs on Shack Pallet. Pedro HZ, however, is quite close, so it's a very risky pick. Pedro HZ should be here, but doesn't make it. It's gonna be 6 stages of Save the Best for Last, and a basement death. With Zynox also being slugged in the middle of the map. Silay and Pedro HZ both injured. So, no possibility for any hit tanks whatsoever. I think Ultra just looked past our survivor here. I'm pretty sure I just saw Pedro HZ pick up Zynox right on Ultra's right here, and both survivors will be able to make it out unscathed. Silay now in big trouble. Do we see that? Original Pain, yes. Add-on now applying men to Silay upon having broken out of the chains while injured. So Silay trying his best to make as much distance as possible here. We are gonna see the head-on play. I really didn't hear that survivor. I was under the assumption that Silay would be downstairs, because the moans were quite distant. The moans of pain were quite distant. Silay is gonna take the down, however, that's gonna be -2 stacks for Ultra. But the 4th stage for our killer of Team Cynic. Torment still has to work through 3 generators. The hang occurs, and the Scourge look also procs as we hear a survivor scream in the distance. Ultra trying to land the snipe with his chains far away, but we do see that our survivor manages to successfully escape. A little bit troublesome for Ultra, however, is that he does not really have any gen kicking perks or gen kicking enhancement perks. Let's call it that. That generator is extremely close to completion as well, and a snipe will land straight onto Zynox. That's gonna put our survivor in the deep wounds. Hello. Deep wound status effect, which means our survivor will have to mend before he will be able to touch the gen once more. And it was quite close to completion, so it will give Ultra a little bit of time. However, that chain on Petro HZ is not going to land. Zynox now going for the box while having to mend. Might backfire, but yeah, it's a bit risky now that we have 2 survivors in the same location. bit of an issue here, a bit of an error here with the communication. As you see now, both survivors technically zoned, so Ultra can really just stand in the middle here, wait for Silay to die, and as soon as one of these survivors makes a move, just push for them. And we are gonna see, however, that Ultra is going to be the one who's doing the pushing, is gonna snipe Zynox in the corner, and will be able to land the M1 barely before... Oh, he could have 100% just swung for that. And might now get outplayed on the pallet, but it's not gonna happen. Silay will be unhooked, so that's 2 survivors in the corner of the map. The unhook, the pickup on Zynox will be safe and sound, as no survivor is anywhere near the pallet save. It's gonna be the 6th stage of the game, and a fresh hook onto Zynox as well, but Ultra really should be trying to play for the 4K here, considering the amount of stages and the amount of generators remaining as well. But we do know that this generator is quite close. I would estimate it at about 80 to 90%, given the sound cues and the pistons pumping. We do see PedRageZ relatively close here, but most likely not gonna go for this generator, as he must stealth past and get the rescue onto Zynox, as he sees Silay graciously avoiding the chains on top of main building on the generator, trying to make as much distance as possible. Ultra trying to land the chains through, and will finally be able to get it. Gonna jump straight down on main building here, hoping to catch Silay off guard. Gonna break the wall downstairs, but that sound cue is of course gonna kick in. But Silay already out of position here, was not holding the window. Did not expect Ultra to go for that direction whatsoever. It's gonna be the chain straight onto Silay, and the down is gonna occur as well. 7 stages for Ultra as long. No, extremely greedy on this pallet here. Silay will be able to make a straight pass, and also gets the vault over. Will also be able to... That should have been the down in the corner. Ultra trying to pick up the box here. It's gonna struggle a bit, but that's gonna be so much distance for Silay now. That could have easily been a down in the corner, but Silay with 1 pallet grade to rule them all. It's not gonna be the down just yet. Ultra now is to snipe him cross map, and that's somehow connected. Probably did on Ultra screen. Okay, let's... what's it called? Let's... Something of a doubt. Benefit of the doubt. There we go. I'm so smart. Silay will be able to make the fast forward here on main building as well, and the chain is gonna connect, however, slowing him down quite a bit. Not gonna go for the window here once again. Ultra must land the snipe here in order to down our survivor before he reaches the pallet, but will be able to do it anyway. No, he's gonna grade for the window here, however. That's finally now gonna be the 7th stage that I've announced about 2 minutes earlier. But that mere chase on Silay just turned the entire game around for Torment. And they were now able to hop 2 more generators, but I don't think any of the remaining generators have any progress on them whatsoever. Ultra now trying his best to find one of these endless survivors stealthing. That's also finally now gonna be the 2nd kill for Ultra that he so desperately needs in order to 4K this on 1 generator remaining. We see Claudette and Adam, the only survivors remaining. Ultra will be able to find Claudette here hiding behind a filler on one of these buildings. Zynox should not be able to make the vault, and that is gonna be the down. And Zynox has already been hooked previously, so this is only going to be the 2nd stage here. Ultra really needs to take care of PedRageZ as well. Still requires those 3 precious stages, those 7 points that our survivor still has available on him, because this is now only going to be the +2, and the hook on Pedro would give him +3, but also needs to take care of this last remaining generator. But I don't think PedRageZ is gonna make any effort at trying to get this last generator popped, so the best bet our survivors can really do is that PedRageZ just needs to stealth out this entire duration of Zynox dying, and then either goes for the sprint burst onto the hatch, which is most likely not gonna happen. So really needs a 50-50 now for these gates. Ultra now testing the limits of his ability, checking if or how controllable these gates are. And we already see our killer sniping over the gate, sniping over the building in order to reach the gate, but it did not look like it would reach. See Zynox, not Zynox, PedRageZ now in the corner on this gate. It is quite far away, so maybe just... Oh, he just saw him last second, so he knows exactly where to look. Great timing by Ultra here. You see PedRageZ extremely greedy on this gate, is hoping that Ultra is just gonna instantly go for the gate behind the building just to double check, and only then will he come back. We also just saw an Adam's header peeking over that blocked generator, and the mind game is gonna put him into the grave at... Well, I take it back. Torment wins. PedRageZ spun, beautiful spin, cracked movement, And that's gonna be a death, regardless of pet rage. That 7 points for Ultra, 4k at 1, once again, just like in the first game, in the first in the race set. The 28-8 score now. Ultra with a great win condition for his team. Cynic only need to pop a 5 gens now in order to secure the win. And we'll see that right after a short fade in and fade out. Hello, and the potentially final game is upon us. It all lies on Zynox now, whether or not he will be able to 4k before the last generator pops, which would also be the tie, which I don't want to see, please. And Zynox will also just instantly take care of all of the walls inside of main building. It's gonna try to really chase heavy here. Not gonna apply any pressure on these survivors. Already renovating quite a lot here. Having broken 3 walls now, but gonna spare this one. So Zynox still now should try to find one of these survivors. That is a feisty 3-gen. And Cynic could be able to hold. There's 5 generators on the scaffold side of things, for only 1 generator main and another generator in that very corner. So this might be just exactly what Zynox needed in order to 4k on potentially 2 gens. With 5 generators on this side. And the first chain is gonna land straight on Lusty. The first hit should also come through. Just gonna go for the medium vault because of that nasty barrel blocking the path. But Zynox has already taken care of all these vaults, so Chase is not gonna be obstructed whatsoever. And we are also going to see Call of Brine in contrast to Ultra's no gen kick perks. With the Noed and Scourge, but the Noed didn't even do anything for him much last game. Was expecting Torment to get the generators quicker than what he could handle. But Zynox just gonna go around the map, kicking all the generators, but does not have eruption. Go for the noun, not for the verb. Does not have eruption available, so tagging all these generators really doesn't do much for him, because that Call of Brine can be interrupted quite early. But it seems like Zynox is just playing the macro game here, trying to eventually catch one survivor off guard, but however, only 1 survivor has been injured so far. Zynox is most likely trying to get as many tags early on as possible to make hit tanking so much harder late game. Should have gone for the vault there, because I believe he would have caught Ultra before he would have made it to the pallet. But in this case, Ultra will be able to get the drop on him. Zynox gonna try to go for the chain snipe, and it is going to land straight on Ultra. However, that impaling wire is not gonna do much considering main building chase, and there are 50 walls here. Ultra will be able to get that quick and quiet vault once again. So potentially the exact same build than what we saw in the race set with the quick and quiet head-on. So Zynox can now be aware of that as well. Might even see a balanced landing here. Beautiful proc here! Zynox will not be able to connect the hit onto Hiron. Will be able to make it out of the backside of main as well. Zynox trying to make him taste the back, and it basically works. Hiron almost completely running into him. Could be the head-on. No, it's not going to be it. Ultra not in position for it yet, but a great use of balanced landing, and then a great maneuver around main building. But Zynox was 1 step ahead. Now Hiron just going to hold the outside wall after having made sure that Zynox did in fact go inside of main and not gonna try to mind game the broken wall once again. Zynox will be able to outmaneuver the next chain as well. Still in chase. As we see one survivor instantly coming in for the hit tank as well. Gonna see Lusty most likely is gonna drop this pathway entirely, so it doesn't make it anywhere near. No, it's just gonna make the right decision here of leaving the body block here upon having made sure that Hiron does have enough distance, and also just extremely cheeky getting straight back on the generator while injured. But yeah, so far this is really lacking pressure from Zynox's point of view. Does not manage to connect the chain once more. Hiron, yeah, I was gonna say, not gonna commit to that side. And trying to once again play around main building is Zynox just really keeping all of his chases main building. A grave mistake for Cenobite here, as the chases basically become useless. As we see that second generator pop now as well. This is a rinse and repeat, but the opposite of what we've seen in the race set, where we saw an extremely dominant killer game, then by Cynic, then an extremely dominant survivor performance by Cynic, Torment, and now we see that exactly happening as well for Cynic. With an extremely dominant killer performance and now in survivor as well. First down finally gonna come through. It's not gonna happen. At 2 generators remaining, I was gonna say, you see Angel's already taking care of the chain hunt also. Gonna go for the 3 vaults here, and the window still hasn't been blocked here. Shift tech busted. Heron is gonna get chained over in front of main, and I don't think any survivor is inside here, but might just be able to doesn't manage to make it back to this, and will not be able to. Oh, gets body blocked. No, maybe not. Gonna go for the pointer. So we see the entire team coming for the save. Could be a singularity attack. We see Nia getting hit by the chains now as well. That's gonna be a free tag for Cynox. Sloppy Butcher will be applied onto Nia, but Hiron will have plenty of time to recover, about 40% now. As you see, Lusty once again with that resilience on the generator, but Ultra already on 80% as well. So this might just be 5 gens pop without a single stage. It's now the race for it, and the hook is gonna come through. It really counts on the score trick now. Not entirely sure, but we see Quentin, or was it Quentin, or it might have been Lusty, Ultra or Lusty in the middle, but I think Ultra has just stuck to the generator. So there should be 5 gens popped and only 1 stage secured. So Cynox really not going to be able to defend any of his generators despite this extremely tight net that he has on the side that he's currently chasing Lusty on. And is just going to commit to main building for the entire game. And we have that 5th generator pop as soon as Lusty is picked up. The second stage for Cynox, that scored look unfortunately does not apply on exit gates. And we see an extremely far away gate, so I expect all of our survivors to just carve up on it. And that would also be the 4 stages, just like the first set. We see our survivor on with hope. But no, we are gonna see an extremely risky play by Ultra. We always love to see teammates coming back for their teammates in situations like this. That's what I always pressure my team into doing as well. And we are gonna see the unhook by Ultra onto Lusty. Lusty just instantly gonna go for the skate here. And I was gonna say, oh, do not obsession Ultra, that's cheating. But no, it is gonna be Guardian. I'm not even sure if Ultra, or not Ultra, or Cynox will even be able to make it in time. I was expecting our survivors to instantly cross, but no, Lusty will not be able to make it in time. It's gonna grade for the vault here, but it's not gonna be enough. Tries to go for the lockout, the head-on, but we are gonna see the hit into the head-on. That was almost fantastic. Once again, balance survivors. But it unfortunately seems like Lusty will be left for dead as Ultra makes it out of the gate. Somehow dodges that by running into the wall here. Sigma grinds that, pretend you're bad, and then strike back. Yeah, catch him off guard. But yeah, that is gonna be the exact same result as what we saw in the previous set here. 4k1 and then 4 stages. However, this time on the opposite side of things. So it will go into the tiebreaker, namely Plague, after a very dominant side on each respective team's pick. With the 4k1 and the 4 stages once again. And yeah, it's really gonna come down to Plague now. So after a quick cut, off to the tiebreaker / final set between Torment and Cynic. Cynox on the Plague after a rather disappointing killer match, only having been able to get 4 stages here, but ooh, there's only that's a 5 gen. We see 1 generator corrupt in the middle of the map. That is usually a pretty bad sign, either for the killer, might be due to a split corrupt, or it could also be a 5 gen for the survivors, and that is exactly what we're gonna see. Only 2 generators around Shag and 1 in the middle and 4 on main building. So Cynox might be able to get a very promising result in this game. If he does decide this time to stay closer to his generators, unlike in the previous Cenobite set, where basically all of the chases took place at a main building, which would, however, in this case be quite favorable considering Suffocation Pit. And he does have the 4 generators around his main building. I'm extremely dehydrated. That does not just come from Plague. Ugh. And we see already 2 survivors infected. Our survivors are just gonna try to push through the generators. And we see also an extremely promising build with Eruption and Call of Brine. Angel's the only other survivor besides Ultra who will be infected. A great prediction by Cynox here onto Angels will further the contamination just a little bit more, or the infection in this case. I think the first time I say contamination is, I remember that word, it's for Nemesis and Mastermind, I believe. And we do see Lusty will be caught off guard in the open on the hill, but will be able to make it to another pallet. It's gonna greet it, but it's gonna pay back. Cynox will now be able to zone our survivor. It's gonna be the early on one, not gonna be able to make much distance here as Lusty has taken that hit relatively closer to edge map, but does have that extremely safe main building window. Cynox needs to break this wall as early as possible, but is gonna commit to this generator in the middle here with 2 injured survivors, but both of these survivors should be able to make it. No, we're gonna see a 99 sprint burst by Angels. We'll be able to make it as far away as possible, but Cynox now will be able to pick up the first ability thanks to the double apple here, giving Zynox 2 extra pools of corruption, but also 1 more pool that the survivors can cure on. Cure, not cleanse, exactly. You heard me right. But Zynox now trying to hold this side of the map here. It's gonna be a bit difficult now in the early stages of the game, considering there are still 4 survivors roaming around and all of these generators are in perfect corner spots. So Zynox does have to travel quite a lot in order to reach these pallets. Generators, sorry. And Lusty is just gonna run the Infinite here on main building. Isn't even on Chase anymore. Zynox is gonna change Chase here. Is gonna go straight for our uninjured Hiron. But the balance landing is gonna come in clutch here. But Zynox might be able to get the 2-tap. It's gonna go straight to the middle of the map here. Gonna go through the Ormond filler. Does not want to play around. It should greet it now. Oh, the beautiful crouch here. Might just be able to squeeze it out for Hiron. Is it gonna be the down? It's not gonna be the down. Beautifully played by Hiron. Was gonna go for pointer on the drop pad. It's actually gonna backfire because Hiron was expecting to go down on this pallet here, and the flashlight save is unfortunately not gonna help out as Zynox is gonna face the wall. And is gonna get the hook on this extremely far progressed generator. This is exactly what Zynox needed, and it's going to nullify all of the early game pressure by Team Cynic. As Angels will now be the next survivor in Chase as well. Call of Brian now gonna do its job, and a nasty hit and an unconditional, yes, unintentional pallet reverse. Zynox now gonna go pick up his next ability. If he doesn't manage to get to the hook in time before any of the survivors make it, this could even be a 4K-on-3. But I'm expecting our survivors of Team Cynic to make it there before Zynox does. It's now getting dangerously close over, but we see the hook move, so a sign of the unhook taking place. Zynox now should be a bit intimidated by this pallet here. I was waiting for the head-on as well. We do hear Ultra, or not Ultra, Lusty this time on it. It's gonna be the 2-man slug here once again and has that ability up, so it should be the 3-man slug mid-game at 3 generators remaining. Only needs to find Ultra now and we know exactly where he is as the result of that generator pop. But Zynox not messing around, instantly gonna go for pickup as we see Angels being picked up in the meantime by the survivors as well. Zynox going to gently replace our survivor Hiron back on this generator near to the close generator in the middle portion of the map here. Gonna try to use the ability to get the down onto Angels, but Angels will be able to make it past with the 19th sprint burst. Once again expected someone to be in the locker, but the infection on that locker is still due to Zynox's early infection on it when the head-on play was attempted, which entirely backfired for Team Cynic, with all survivors being concentrated on one spot, and all Ultra can now really do is work on the generators on the main building side here. Or Angels is doing the same now. They fairly well know that this is going to be the death of Hiron, because Zynox can just hold 2 survivors for free here. Lusty not making any attempt at crawling away. Not gonna give Zynox a reason to leave whatsoever. This is 2 survivors pressured, and they will never be able to pop both of those generators in time. So it might be 1 generator more for Team Cynic here on the survivor side, but it's looking extremely grim, as Hiron is now gonna be dead on hook. Pickup is not gonna come through on Lusty, it seems like. No, Zynox is just trying to hear out any of the close survivors, but as we did see with Angels and Ultra, they're both working on the generators. And this might even be actually the 2 generator pop here. I was underestimating the pressure that they had, but no, we see Angels will be forced to leave it. Zynox will be able to once again get the hook right next to the furthest progress generator, which is gonna be extremely which is going to be a huge, big backfire, which is going to backfire bigly? Backfire big for Team Cynic. Zynox once again going to try to make Angels taste the back on main. Always love to see killers going for this. And we are going to see the preemptive pallet drop here. Does not want... wants that extra distance. You see Scratchbox in the middle as well, and there's Ultra running past. Zynox in perfect position to catch the survivor off guard. So should really just get the second stage on Lusty here, considering there's 2 survivors right next to the unhook. And right next to the hook. Yeah, Ultra should not have gone much further. I think Zynox is fake chasing Angels in this situation here, baiting Ultra to go for an ambitious save here. And that's exactly what happened. It took Ultra so long to get back on this generator, hoping that, expecting Ultra to or ultra hoping to get a window of opportunity here. And we are going to see the down onto Angel's Eruption is going to hit as well. And this is looking like a 4K on 2 generators remaining. Considering still, however, did have the 5 gen early on, but Zynox really just profited from the downs happening right next to the furthest progress generators, nullifying all of Cynic's efforts in the mid and in the early and mid game. We saw it on Hyron on the generator in the middle, and then later on also, while Angels was working on the generator in the corner next to main building, as I believe Lusty went down close to it as well. Zynox trying to make Ultra chase the back on main building and moonwalking around the entire tile. But is just going to pick up the ability, yeah, but Ultra might just have enough time now to get back to Angels. But even if he does manage to do so, the ability should down both immediately after. Zynox still checking on Shaq for some reason, despite there being scratch marks in the middle. Might even kick the generator for good measures, but no, he's not going to waste any time whatsoever. Sees the blood pools on the go around, and they're fresh. Zynox is bloodthirsty, and as the survivors leak blood, he will leak red puke in the same color as the blood. How poetic. And it also ends where the game started for Zynox, with Hyron being hooked on this exact hook, or that's now broken down. But Ultra going down is going to put the end into any attempt for Team Cynic to take this back, and it's looking like a 4K on 2, but Angels can still bleed out, and this survivor has not been hooked yet, which means if this survivor does successfully bleed out, it would be only 6 points for Zynox and not the full 7. And at one point it might just be enough, but I don't think that Torment is really gonna be allowing to get 4K'd on 2 generators remaining, and Zynox is also just immediately going to find Angels on the ground, and that hook seems close enough, and yeah, there's definitely another one even closer. And a very unexpected result here by Zynox, but actually not that much unexpected, because of the 5 gen at the start around main building, and the early hooks as well. But Zynox will be able to get a 4K in the 5 gen on 2 generators remaining with the Plague on Suffocation, but a really big win condition, as I believe this is also the best result that we've seen so far on a Plague in all of these qualifier games. So it really comes to show that these teams have their strengths and weaknesses, as we saw in complete domination by Cenobite on Cynic. By Cynic on Cenobite, sorry. And then by Torment on Wraith. And now we're gonna see this exact domination once again by Team Torment on the final set. But there's still one more game to go. Maybe I was wrong about this last set, and it's gonna be just as close in the upcoming final trial of the last qualifier match between Torment and Cynic. You didn't see it, but I did the trumpet IRL with my fingers. Anyway, we are now off to the, hopefully, final game between Cynic and Team Torment. And we are gonna see Ultra on the Plague here, representing Team Cynic now in an all-out effort at the end of that is 1-3.5, I do believe. Yeah, I hope my eyes didn't deceive me. And that is roughly the same, almost the exact same RNG that we had in the previous game. Gonna have a 4-gen on this side of the map here, with all these, with only 2 generators on trackside and 1 in the middle to complete the full 7. Also trying to find survivors in the middle of the map here, also extremely ambitious, going for the red puke right from the get-go, hoping to catch a survivor off guard, but in the end, Ultra needs to play for this win condition. 4K on 2 generators remaining is what Zynox managed to achieve, and manages to find more extremely early on competed 2-tap, and it is! That's exactly what Ultra needed to take it back! Beautifully played. I don't think our survivors sort of... well, you get the sound notification, but that must have been extremely puzzling for our survivors to hear that notification so early on. And Ultra has exactly what he needs. The hook inside of his 4-gen on top of a hill even, so... Thanatophobia, and scored right from the get-go too, but that is going to unblock all generators on this side of on the other side of the map around Shaq. But Ultra in, I would say, the dream position for Plague. I really can't think of a better position, realistically speaking, not that all 4 survivors run into you and die. But Mortar getting 2-tapped right from the get-go in the pallet dense middle of the map here, after getting hit on the 4 lane and then doesn't even make it to the pallet gym. Puke onto Mortar comes through as well, but Ultra should really just try to secure the death on the survivor here. Gonna try to get Puke on these generators here, but Perfectly played by Torment. The moment Ultra makes any attempt to getting closer to any of these generators, the Anuk comes through instantaneously. And it's also looking like Guardian here. Mortar extremely quick. No life, however, is just gonna go for the insta-vault. And that's unfortunately gonna be a lot of infection for Zynox. Not gonna vault, no, is gonna vault the window with live. Mortar is gonna be the one in chase. Oh, that must have looked absolutely inhumane on Mortar's screen. Once again, the down coming through. 2 for 2 on the Paladin now. Ultra getting extremely early down spots. Still, those 40 seconds that Ultra spent defending the hook are now completely wasted as the Anuk did come through. Ultra now going to be able to secure the second stage on the exact same hook, luckily for him. And the Scourge also comes through, now knowing that this generator is the furthest progressed. And an RNG skill check comes through as well. Extremely unfortunate for our survivors. But it is what it is. Ultra really in an increasingly better position, but this generator must be interrupted. It's only got 45 seconds left on it, as this, in contrast to the stage that is 60 seconds. So Pedro HZ will be forced, is gonna take the infection as well, so there's gonna be the Thanatophobia relatively soon. But no, that Anuk is once again gonna come through. Mortar is gonna make his best attempt possible to make it to this other side of the map here. We are gonna see a body block here, or down will be taken for Mortar. But no, the double back is Mortar really not paying great attention to Ultra's movement here. Will once again be downed instantaneously. And that's gonna be the death. And 5 generators remaining, but we should at least see. Actually no, there's a Scourge as well. Go, go Ultra, go, go! And that is once again gonna be this generator interrupted, and Ultra will be able to hold his... No, this generator is 99 as well. So one generator was even closer to completion than this one. Ultra will however be able to get the kill at 5 generators remaining. All of these generators are extremely close to completion. Pedro HZ still is yet to be infected for Thanatophobia to kick in. And we see our survivor will now be both our survivors are taking aggro. This could even be the 4K on 3 generators remaining. The slug comes through. Pedro is gonna take the down. Ultra now needs to get the down onto Sile, but gets lost on the sound here. Should not have hesitated whatsoever. It was quite obvious that Sile was gonna rotate over to the middle of the map. Only as the TL available live is on Zynox here, so this will not be the survivor. Ultra trying to find Zynox here in on this side of the map here, and will be able to find him, selfing away on this pallet. So an early snipe could be huge for Ultra. Sile must get the pickup onto Pedro as quick as possible. Will try to go for the hit through the Z-Wall, but Zynox of course expecting it, but will not be able to Z-Wall him successfully. It's gonna be the down back onto Zynox, and this survivor is so far away from the remaining survivors that they should not really focus getting the pickup onto Zynox just now. They need to stealth out this ability first of all, and then make it past Ultra through the middle. And we see Sile will once again be found on main building as scratch marks will be left. Pedro that already manages to stealth past. That's gonna be the pickup most likely onto Zynox relatively soon. Sile trying his absolute hardest to make it around main building, but the down is gonna come through. Firecracker attempt, but Ultra just going to casually sidestep it. But does still have the edge map tiles. Puke not gonna be enough, and the medium vault is not gonna suffice against 230 MS. Ultra will be able to get the down onto Sile. And that's gonna be the 4th stage of the game. Considering this could have almost been a 3-man slug with 1 death at 4 generators remaining is absolutely ludicrous. Cynic playing out of the mind here. It's gonna come down extremely close, so I will take back to what I said earlier, that these teams have their strengths and weaknesses. Really can't tell on Plague here so far. This is looking way better than Zynox's game. But our survivors still only need to pop 3 more generators in order to decide it for themselves. And these two shack generators are not gonna cut the deal for them. They will have to pop at least 1 generator on the side that Sile is currently hooked on. We see Zynox roaming around the middle trying to find an opening in order to make it over to Sile. As we see Pedro finishing up one of the generators on Shacks on the side where Shack is located. Our survivors will however still have to get 1 generator repaired on the top side of the map on main building. Sorry, I need to stop saying top and bottom. Some people might not know what that means. And Zynox will be caught off guard, hiding in the corner of the map. And the pallet, the drop pallet on the 4 lane is going to be extremely helpful for Survivor. Ultra will however now know exactly where both of these survivors are, so should really just focus on killing Sile on the hook now. while preventing these survivors from crossing and popping this generator. But we are going to see the attempted cure as well. But it seems like Ultra has taken too many steps away from Pedro, so our survivors should have made it past, should now be behind logs or the filler, where the generator is also. But no sign of him just yet. We're going to see the cure by Zynox. Ultra really should just stand still in the middle. It is Suffocation Pit, it is a bottleneck map, just like ours resting place. And Zynox will be infected right away. And once again knows where both of these survivors are. So Ultra really should just hold the middle here, and this could be the 4K-on-3. I don't quite understand the decision making here. He's creating openings for our survivors, and that's exactly what's gonna happen. Cynic could have just been dead in 10 seconds, but Ultra will allow Zynox to slip past and get the unhook. This might just be now the huge comeback story for Torment. Zynox will be infected, but manages to reach the pellet in time. Slay now gonna get destroyed on main building here, trying to make the balanced landing play, but that's gonna be the grab due to the medium vault, and Pedro is gonna scream in the background, which means no generator will be repaired on this side of the map here. That's gonna be 2 men standing on 3 generators remaining. It is looking extremely good for Team Cynic. Ultra needs to kill both of these survivors and would be GG. Could have very much done so earlier as well when Slayer was hooked here, but Ultra just being baited way too much by Zynox. We see one survivor on Shack and the other on main building, a great split here, but they will have to pop each of their generators in order to decide the set for themselves. Ultra will be able to pick up the Corrupt Purge once more and will set off on another mission to find these survivors stealthing, as you see the swag walk by Pedro, edge map. This generator has also gone down to 0 thanks to Eruption. You don't really see any generators of much pressure. These crows were disturbed by Ultra. They are not, in fact, not Zynoxes. Ultra struggling to find these survivors. And will be able to find Zynox survivors. Should just come down here onto Zynox, and it is going to happen. Just gonna be the pickup as well. This is looking extremely good for Team Cynic to take over. And the drop down onto Zynox will happen dangerously close to Hatch, however. Ultra now needs to find Pedro in order to decide for himself, but we see Zynox already crawling into position of Hatch. So Pedro, just DC out loud. I'll let it slip, okay? I'm not gonna tell anyone. Let Zynox escape. Of course not. Still stealthing away, and it's extremely difficult to see Adam in the corner here due to the shadowing and same goes for most of these survivors, or most of the male survivors just have these long dark coats where you just can't see anything at all. Hiding in the vegetation here might be really difficult for Ultra to find him. Not even gonna try to make any attempt for trying to find him. We also see Pedro will drop his flashlight in order to not have any shiny objects on him. Very smart decision today to not take any charms, but if it was me, I would have absolutely taken my first Rift level 70 vial thing, whatever it was. But Ultra now just checking the entire wrong side of the map here. If Zynox dies on the ground as well and Pedro manages to get the escape, that will also be enough. So it might not even have to pop these generators here. There's definitely a lot of mathematics going on in the brains of these survivors, but I have not entirely caught up. Wait, I need to think of it myself. Okay, 4K2, that's 28 to 6. Yes. And this is currently... survivors have managed to get to 10, so... Zynox beats out. It's only 6 for Ultra, 2 kills, it's 42, it's 48. Survivors are at 10, with 1 escape would be 17. What am I calculating, really? Well, yeah, it's a difficult situation for Ultra. Okay, I don't want to give up on Mars now. I don't want to get memed over that. Okay, it was 28 for Torment, and now they pop 2 then, so 32. Zynox dies. Will be no points for Ultra. Pedro escapes, that's 39. Yeah, that would be 39 for them. And for Ultra it would be... Cynic were able to get 6 in the first game. And now it's 20. Zynox dies, it's 26. Yeah, it would be enough. Easily. It really just depends on whether Pedro manages to escape here. I really haven't even taken a look at the gates here. We see one gate was just where Ultra checked. But yeah, this must be so infuriating for a killer. No, they are on the same side, in fact. But they do have quite a bit of distance between them. So if Pedro manages to S-strat one of these gates and then goes back for it and just pushes through the infection, and it should suffice. You see Ultra already prepping on the gates here. Cynox will die, and that is only going to be 6 points for Ultra, not going to be the full 7, due to the survivor not having been hooked yet. So it's going to be 1 point deducted from the full 7. Yeah, so he's going to bleed out, and Pedro is already getting into position. Dangerously walking into the open here, but Ultra on the Oh, okay, that's the play they went with. Yep, and that is Pedro 100% escaping. That is going to be a huge point swing for Team Torment. After barely narrowly avoiding a 4k on 3 generators remaining, Ultra playing out of his mind in the early stages of the game with a 2-tap onto Mordo, but then making too many mistakes, unfortunately, mid-game. And Pedro will be able to swing the points back for Team Torment with the escape occurring, and that's going to be the win for Team Torment, and will also secure the 8th position in the main bracket.